इसमें तो क्या है, बहुत सारा पैसा चाहिए तब आप स्केल बना सकते हो, और मटेरियल भी नहीं है। तो पहला थॉट था कि यार सेल क्यों नहीं बना सकते। उसका फर्स्ट रीज़न है कि जो सेल बनाने के लिए बेसिक एलिमेंट चाहिए, जैसे लिथियम, निकल, कोबाल्ट, ये 3 मटेरियल चाहिए और वो इंडिया में है नहीं। तो अल्टीमेटली ये जो मटेरियल अपने इंडिया में मिलते हैं, इसकी वजह से हम प्रोडक्शन नहीं कर पाते क्योंकि सप्लाई चेन इशूज़ हैं। तो चाइना ने क्या किया है, लगभग 76 और 77% जो टोटल मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में है उसको अपने कंट्रोल में करके रखा हुआ है, उसको लीज पे लेके रखा हुआ है। तो दैट वाज द सिस्टम व्हेन वी रियलाइज्ड कि ये चीज़ में ना सप्लाई चेन इशूज़ भी है, टेक्नोलॉजी इशूज़ भी है, और कैपिटल भी बहुत ज़्यादा चाहिए, तब आप लिथियम सेल इंडिया में बना सकते हो। तो हमने क्या किया था, उस समय स्क्रैपर्स से पुराने सेल्स खरीदना शुरू किया। वी एक्चुअली परचेज्ड स्मॉल सेल्स फ्रॉम कबाड़ीवालाज, फ्रॉम रिपेयर सेंटर्स, की आपकी जो बैटरी मोबाइल फ़ोन की ख़राब होगी वो हमें दे दो, जो लैपटॉप की बैटरी ख़राब होगी वो हमें दे दो। तो उससे हम ना रीयूज सेल बनाते थे, मतलब दोबारा बैटरीज बनाते थे, और इन्वर्टर के लिए, स्ट्रीट लाइट्स के लिए, और वो बैटरीज हम उसको सेल आउट करते थे।
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Climapreneur Show. And on today's episode हम लोग आ गए हैं BATX की फैक्ट्री में। BATX एक भारत क्लाइमेट स्टार्टअप है, और वो लोग एक्चुअली as they call it, they are remanufacturing critical minerals for indigenous lithium-ion battery manufacturing. But वो कैसे कर रहे हैं, क्या प्रोसेस है, and how they've actually made this entire unit. It's very interesting, and वो वीडियो आपको भारत क्लाइमेट स्टार्टअप्स पे मिल जाएगी, so please वो देखना. And now let's actually speak with the man behind it, someone who's created this from scratch. So I would like to welcome on the podcast Vikrant. Thank you, Vikrant, for hosting us at BATX, and thank you so much for doing this with us today.
Thank you so much for at least inviting us, at least I coming to our factory, and I think it is all about BATX we have created to fulfill some purpose. So at least thanks for at least coming here, showing the things which we have shown, and giving us time to our journey what we have did. So thanks a lot.
तो विक्रांत, सबसे पहले बताओ कि BATX क्या है, BATX क्या कर रहा है, एंड आपने स्टार्ट कैसे करा? बिकॉज बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग जर्नी है कि कहाँ से स्टार्ट करके आज जिस स्केल पे हम ये कर पा रहे हैं. सो प्लीज़ टॉक अबाउट इट.
सो आई थिंक जब BATX स्टार्ट किया था तो ऐसा कुछ पता नहीं था कि BATX शुरू करना है, क्या करना है. इन 2015 आई गॉट एडमिशन इन द बीमन मुरजान यूनिवर्सिटी एज मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर. तो वहाँ पे क्या था कि आई वॉज वेरी पैशनेट अबाउट बिल्डिंग द कार्स. कि जो कॉलेज में क्या होता है कि जो कुछ ऐसे कॉम्पिटिशन्स होते हैं जिसमें आपको कार बनानी होती है पूरी, एंड यू बिल्ड द कार्स एंड देन यू पार्टिसिपेट टू द नेशनल एंड इंटरनेशनल लेवल. तो सेकेंड ईयर से जर्नी शुरू हुई. सेकेंड ईयर में देयर वाज अ इलेक्शन एंड आई गॉट इलेक्टेड एज अ वाइस प्रेसिडेंट. तो ऑटोमोबाइल क्लब में हमने काम करना शुरू किया, एंड आवर विज़न कि हम भी पार्टिसिपेट करेंगे, क्योंकि उस समय तक ना कॉलेज में कोई नया कॉलेज था, हम सेकेंड बैच के थे, तो कुछ ऐसा सीनियर का कुछ बनाया हुआ था नहीं, क्योंकि एज अ सेकेंड बैच हमारा था. तो वहाँ पे क्या था कि विज़न ये था कि गाड़ी बनाने, बिकॉज आई बिलोंग टू द बैकग्राउंड वेयर लॉट ऑफ मशीन्स इज बीइंग यूज्ड इन माय फैमिली बिजनेस एज एग्रीकल्चर. तो ये था कि गाड़ियाँ बनानी है, एंड वी स्टार्टेड टू बिल्डिंग द कार्स. तो इन द कॉलेज व्हेन वी स्टार्टेड बिल्डिंग द कार्स, इन द फर्स्ट ईयर वी बिल्ड द गैसोलिन कार्स की जिसमें पेट्रोल डीजल यूज़ होता है. और सेकेंड ईयर में जब हम पहुँचे, मतलब थर्ड ईयर में इन 2017, तो वहाँ पे था कि कॉलेज ने बोला कि अब आपको फंड्स तभी मिलेगा जब आप इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स में पार्टिसिपेट करोगे. तो इसके पहले इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल कभी देखा नहीं था कि इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल कैसा होता है, उसमें क्या कंपोनेंट्स यूज़ होते हैं. बट नन ऑफ द चॉइस, क्योंकि पैसा नहीं मिलेगा तो आप बना नहीं सकते. तो बहुत सारे इवेंट्स थे, जैसे ऐसे ही जो सोसाइटी ऑफ ऑटोमोटिव इंजीनियर्स है, जो बुद्धा इंटरनेशनल सर्किट है, उसके ऊपर एक इवेंट होना था जिसको बोलते हैं ऐसे ही फार्मूला 1 इवेंट, जिसमें आपको फार्मूला 1 कार बनानी होती है, और वो इलेक्ट्रिक वर्जन में था. और देन वी फिल द फॉर्म कि इसमें बनाना है. एंड व्हेन आवर एक्चुअली टीम वर्कड ऑन इट, वी फाउंड दैट बैटरी मोटर कंट्रोलर, तो बैटरी में ही 50% कॉस्ट इन्फ्यूज हो रही थी. तो हमारी टीम ने जब काम किया, एक बजट बनाया, तो जो पूरी गाड़ी का बजट होता था ना गैसोलीन कार का, उतना बजट, द सेम बजट वॉज एलोन फॉर द बैटरी. फिर वहाँ से ये हुआ कि इस इवेंट तो पार्टिसिपेट ही नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि बैटरी का कॉस्ट इतना ज़्यादा है. और वो लिथियम आयन बैटरी 2016-17 में बहुत कॉस्टली थी, मतलब आज से शायद 5-6 टाइम्स मोर कॉस्टलियर एट दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइम. इन आई थिंक इट्स बीन अराउंड 9 years. तो फिर ये है कि और क्या कर सकते हैं. तो बैटरी कॉस्ट वॉज अराउंड 4.5 lakhs, और हमारा बजट ही 6 lakhs का था. तो देन वी आइडेंटिफाइड कि बैटरी में ऐसा क्या है, फिर चलो हमने सोचा चलो पैसे जुगाड़ भी लेते हैं, इफ़ वी विल जनरेट द मनी, बैटरी के प्लेयर्स कौन है। तो वन टीम जो प्रिक्योरमेंट देख रही थी उसने बताया कि ये बैटरी जो है ना वो इंडिया में कहीं नहीं मिलती है, ना आपको मिलेगी ना कोई बनाता है। तो देन अनदर थॉट वाज अराइजिंग कि इंडिया में एक तो कॉस्टली ज़्यादा है और कोई प्लेयर भी नहीं जिसको बनाता हो, बिकॉज इट वॉज अ कस्टमाइज बैटरी फॉर माई कार। तो फिर वहाँ से फिर द इंटायर थिंग एज बीइंग स्टार्टेड, फिर हमने एक बैटरी इंपोर्ट की। सो देन माई को फाउंडर उत्कर्ष जो मेरा सीनियर है 1 साल, he was always onto the part of management, I was a technical person handling all the technical teams। तो मैंने उनसे बोला कि मुझे बैटरी चाहिए, तो he took around 1 month और बोला कि ये बैटरी इंडिया में नहीं, इसको इम्पोर्ट करना पड़ेगा। सो ही वॉज देन वी टू सिट टुगेदर कि यार बैटरी इंडिया में नहीं क्यों नहीं मिलती है और इसको क्यों लेके नहीं आ सकते हैं। तो देन फिर हमने एक बैटरी इंपोर्ट करी विच वॉज यूजिंग वन वेंडर फ्रॉम अम्बाला विच इज़ कॉल्ड SES टेक्नोलॉजीज, आज भी मुझे याद है, इट्स बीन अराउंड 8 years। और एक्चुअली वो बैटरी अब इंपोर्ट करी तो इवेंट हमने किया, एक इको कार्ड करके एक इवेंट होता था, तो उसमें हमने वो बैटरी यूज़ करी। एंड आफ्टर बैटरी यूसेज एक क्यूरोसिटी थी कि इसके बैटरी के अंदर क्या है, लेट सी। तो जो छुट्टियाँ होती थी कॉलेज में, तो उत्कर्ष ने बोला यार इसमें देखो क्या चीज़ है ऐसा, बिकॉज ही वॉज ऑलवेज अ एंटरप्रेन्योर माइंडसेट। तो उसने बोला यार इसको हम खुद क्यों नहीं बना सकते। सो आई थॉट ओके लेट्स सी इट। तो जो सेमेस्टर हॉलीडेज होते हैं वी वर ओनली इनटू द कॉलेज, हम घर नहीं गए, and we actually dismantled the entire battery to see what is inside the battery। It was the first time we seen that इसमें छोटे छोटे cells होते हैं, उसमें एक BMS को सर्किट सा लगा हुआ है। and that particular time it intrigued us that कि इसमें ऐसा कुछ है जो हम, ऐसा तो कुछ है नहीं जिसमें बना नहीं सकते, एक सर्किट है, छोटे कुछ सेल्स लगे हुए हैं, एक केसिंग है। then we researched entire 2-3 months कि यार इसको ना बनाना है इंडिया में। और बिकॉज वी वर सो इमेच्योर, हमें सप्लाई चेन का कुछ पता नहीं था, हमें सेल्स का कुछ पता नहीं, हमें इकोनॉमिक्स का पता नहीं, हमें सिर्फ ये कि इसको बनाना है। सो आई स्टार्टेड वर्किंग इन 2016 ऑन द बैटरी। और देन वी अंडरस्टूड, वी स्टडीड अराउंड 2 to 3 months। और हमने रिसर्च जब शुरू करी तो हमने रिसर्च शुरू करी कि भाई लिथियम ही क्यों, वाई नॉट एनी अदर टेक्नोलॉजी। तो वी स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम दैट वेरी बेसिक, वी लिस्ट आउट ऑल द एलिमेंट्स फ्रॉम पीरियोडिक टेबल कि यार रिसर्च करेंगे तो बेसिक से करेंगे, फंडामेंटल से करेंगे। और हमने सारे मेटल्स को जब लिस्ट आउट करा तो वी फाउंड दैट द इलेक्ट्रिक पोटेंशियल विच इज़ अ स्टैंडर्ड इलेक्ट्रिक पोटेंशियल विच इज़ अ नेचुरल पैरामीटर फॉर एनी मेटल, lithium in the entire periodic table, lithium is having the highest standard electric potential comparing to all the metals or non-metals. So that was the time when we say that lithium is, that's why lithium. Then we started from Gibbs energy. मतलब Gibbs energy, if you know that, Gibbs energy is the basic fundamental to calculate any energy from any resource. Right. तो हमने वहाँ से शुरू किया है, because we were a pure technical, I am a pure technical person. तो हमने जब उसमें वैल्यूज डाली तो पता लगा कि सोडियम उसके नीचे आता है, लेड उसके नीचे आता है। तो देन वी स्टार्टेड फुल स्केल, हमने रिसर्च शुरू करा एंड वी मेड आवर ओन रिसर्च ऑन द बैटरीज। एंड फिर हम प्रोफेसर के पास गए जब सेमेस्टर शुरू हुआ। इट वाज अराउंड, आई रिमेंबर दिस वाज द फिफ्थ सेमेस्टर में प्रोफेसर के पास हम गए और हमने बोला कि द प्रोफेसर कॉल्ड अमिया दास एंड अभिमन्यु राणा। सो अभिमन्यु राणा हैज वाज हैविंग सम एक्सपीरियंस फ्रॉम नेदरलैंड, सो ही वर्कड फ्यू टाइम्स। तो बोला सर मुझे इस पर रिसर्च करना है। सो ही सेड दैट please drop that project, this is something which is not being happened in India, do something else. I researched furthermore 3-4 years, I came back to him again कि ये मैंने और रिसर्च किया है, इस पे मुझे थोड़ा और काम करना है। Then he said that okay, I want to meet you someone else. So my primary professor Amiya Das, he met another professor Abhimanyu Rana, who actually where the complete research has been started. और luckily क्या था, हमारे कॉलेज में एक नैनो मटेरियल रिसर्च है जहाँ पे द नैनो मटेरियल रिसर्च इज गोइंग ऑन, और उसमें क्या फॉरेनर्स भी कुछ आते हैं, वो काम करते रहते थे। सो ही आस्क्ड मी दैट व्हाई यू डोंट वर्क इनटू दैट। सो आई स्टार्टेड वर्किंग अंडर हिम। तो पूरा जो 8 सेमेस्टर था, 8 सेमेस्टर मेरा थीसिस जो था वो था फैब्रिकेशन ऑफ लिथियम आयन सेल। सो इन 8 सेमेस्टर ईदर यू हैव टू गो इन इंटर्नशिप इन माई कॉलेज, और आपको कुछ ना कुछ थीसिस वर्क करना होता है। तो पूरा 6 महीने आई ओनली बिल्ड द इंटायर सेल। तो कॉलेज में फिर मैंने पूरा सेल बनाया, from coating to slurry mixing, building the packaging of the whole cell, and then testing that first cycle with the cyclic voltammetry, and then even testing with other parameters में microscopies, XRD के सारे parameters लगते हैं। तो I learned in the basic thing, इन दैट इक्विपमेंट, और उन इक्विपमेंट को चलाने में मुझे काफ़ी मज़ा आता था कि माइक्रोस्कोपी कैसे चलता है, एक बार मुझे भी देखना है. तो आई गॉट पैशनेट अबाउट इट. सो I completed 4th year in the college with that particular cell, and then I and Utkarsh got together again कि यार अब ना सेल बनाना है इंडिया में. तो अब इतना हमें पता भी नहीं था कि इसके लिए कितने पैसे चाहिए. वी डोंट नो, बिकॉज एज अ ग्रेजुएट, व्हेन यू ग्रेजुएट यू ओनली थिंक अबाउट योर प्रोडक्ट, यू डोंट थिंक आफ्टरवर्ड्स, यू डोंट थिंक बैकवर्ड. एंड देन आफ्टर 6 months वी ran out of the money, क्योंकि सेल बना के बेचना, इट्स लाइक समथिंग, economics has been come in, right? Scalability has been drawn in. The first time I heard about economics, first time I heard about scalability. So then we run out of the money. We thought that यार कुछ ऐसा करते इसमें पैसे आए. इसमें तो क्या है, बहुत सारा पैसा चाहिए तब आप स्केल बना सकते हो, और मटेरियल भी नहीं है. तो पहला थॉट था कि यार सेल क्यों नहीं बना सकते. उसका फर्स्ट रीज़न है कि जो सेल बनाने के लिए बेसिक एलिमेंट चाहिए, जैसे लिथियम, निकल, कोबाल्ट, ये 3 मटेरियल चाहिए, और वो इंडिया में है नहीं. तो अल्टीमेटली ये जो मटेरियल अपने इंडिया में मिलते हैं, इसकी वजह से हम प्रोडक्शन नहीं कर पाते हैं, क्योंकि सप्लाई चेन इशूज़ हैं. तो चाइना ने क्या किया है, लगभग 76 और 77% जो टोटल मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में है उसको अपने कंट्रोल में करके रखा हुआ है, उसको लीज पे लेके रखा हुआ है. तो दैट वाज द सिस्टम व्हेन वी रियलाइज्ड कि ये चीज़ में ना सप्लाई चेन इशूज़ भी है, टेक्नोलॉजी इशूज़ भी है, और कैपिटल भी बहुत ज़्यादा चाहिए, तब आप लिथियम सेल इंडिया में बना सकते हो. देन वी थॉट कि और क्या कर सकते हैं. तो हमने क्या किया था, उस समय स्क्रैपर्स से पुराने सेल्स खरीदना शुरू किया था. वी एक्चुअली परचेज्ड स्मॉल सेल्स फ्रॉम कबाड़ी वालाज, फ्रॉम रिपेयर सेंटर्स, कि आपकी जो बैटरी मोबाइल फ़ोन की ख़राब होगी वो हमें दे दो, जो लैपटॉप की बैटरी ख़राब होगी वो हमें दे दो. तो उससे हम ना रीयूज सेल बनाते थे, मतलब दोबारा बैटरीज बनाते थे, और इन्वर्टर के लिए, स्ट्रीट लाइट्स के लिए, और वो बैटरीज हम उसको सेल आउट करते थे. सो आई थिंक that was the time when we learned first that how company works. मतलब जो टर्म होते हैं ना, कैश फ्लोज, वर्किंग कैपिटल, ऑपरेशनल कैपिटल, राइट, केपेक्स, ओपेक्स, थिंग्स लाइक दैट. तो उस समय पता चला कि कंपनी इज नॉट ओनली ड्रिवन विद योर आइडियाज, कंपनी हैज टू ड्रिवन विद द कैश फ्लोज, कंट्री हैज टू ड्रिवन विद सम मनी, एंड दैट मनी नीड टू बी रेगुलेटेड बाय सम मीन्स. Because as a technical person, you have to also enter in the management side, where the finance controlling and things like that. So, well, luckily we have Utkarsh, where he has a very good understanding about the market, about investors. So, we two together build something good duo. So, I think the first thing which we got in the starting is the good partner. So, Utkarsh and I we have a very good partnership as a brother. I mean, we are not exact brothers, but now we call as a bigger brothers, because the relationship is a type of founders also, the partnership also, as a brothers also. We consider that the partnership need to be done, and that need to be very well maintained. The trust that need to be done very well. तो क्या होता है, जब पार्टनरशिप अच्छी होती है ना, तो आपको एनर्जी ड्रेन नहीं करनी होती, समथिंग विच इन डिस्कशन ऑफ दैट पार्टनरशिप. So your all energy goes into development of something new. So I think very first block is finding a right kind of partner, whom you can have a synergy, you have a vibe, you have a very good understanding. Sometimes you have clashes, but in a very good manner. So I think the first thing which we got as a good understanding about to each other, and we two were very complementary each other, because I was a technical person, he was, so I was having not much relation with their part, he was not much taking. See, we were like, okay, both will do their part excellent. तो शाम को हम लोग डिस्कस करते थे, एंड आई थिंक दैट ब्रॉट इन समथिंग वेयर वी चैनलाइज अवर एनर्जी इन अवर ओन थॉट प्रोसेस, विच इज अवर कोर. लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर आई एम अ टेक्निकल पर्सन, आई एम फोकसिंग ऑन माई थिंग्स रादर देन पुटिंग अप द ब्रेन वेयर आई डोंट हैव an idea, or I don't have much sense about it. I can get a feedback, I can have a suggestion, but let him do. Exactly same he is like, let him do what he is doing, just what you need, just tell me. So we are like complementary, what you need, just tell me, and this is the delivery you will get. So I mean, that kind of openness, that kind of trust is being needed to start any venture, because most of the times you should not fight about the negative things which will drain your energy, and you need to be, I mean, and why I said that founder is very important, that sometimes you feel very low in the starting, you will feel this idea will work or not. So I think that each of you will, sometimes you will getting low, he will make you understand. Sometimes I will getting low, he will getting low, I will make him understand that okay, things will work, because starting 1 to 2 years is little tough, because nothing is being materialized, everything is on your dreams. And every day you are talking about that, okay हम ऐसा करेंगे, हम वो चीज़ लेके आएंगे, हम उसको इंटीग्रेट करेंगे, हम मार्केट में इतने में बेचेंगे, बट नथिंग इज बीइंग ऑन द ट्रैक. सो आई थिंक फर्स्ट थिंग इज कॉल्ड विच इज़ कॉल्ड आइडिएशन फेज. तो जब हमारा आइडिएशन फेज था जिसमें हम आइडिया को जस्ट इम्प्लीमेंट कर रहे थे अपने माइंड्स में कि हमें करना क्या है, उस समय आइडिया इतना कॉन्क्रीट नहीं था कि हमें रिसाइकलिंग करनी है. आइडिया था कि बैटरीज बनानी है फ्रॉम द ओल्ड सेल्स एंड हमें सेल बनाना उससे मटेरियल निकाल के. तो इट वॉज अ कंप्लीट थॉट प्रोसेस विच वी डिड. एंड आफ्टर दैट व्हाट हैपेंड कि बैटरीज बनाना हमने शुरू किया, कुछ रेवेन्यूज जनरेट किए, जो फंड्स आते थे हमने कहा अब हम ना रिसर्च शुरू करेंगे. तो कॉलेज में हमने इंक्यूबेट कराया अपना कंपनी, अटल इंक्यूबेशन योजना में हमने इंक्यूबेट कराया. वहाँ पे हमें एक्सेस मिला उसके लैब का. और हम लोग ना कॉलेज में ही रहते थे, कॉलेज हॉस्टल्स में. तो 2-3 लोग जो थे हमारे, जो इनको हायर किया हुआ था, और इतने पैसे थे नहीं, तो बहुत ही लो कॉस्ट 10,000 रुपीज़, 15,000 रुपीज़. कुछ इंटर्न्स, कॉलेज में भी कुछ इंटर्न्स थे, उनको इंक्लूड कर लिया था. तो ऐसे 5-6-7 लोग हम लोग मिलके कॉलेज में रिसर्च करते थे. और आई वॉज हैविंग लिटिल एक्सपीरियंस ऑन दैट पॉइंट, तो पता था करना कैसे. देन आई ऑल्सो एडेड सम ऑफ द प्रोफेसर्स आई वर्क विद लास्ट 4 years. एंड गुड थिंग वॉज दैट कि मेरा रिलेशनशिप हमेशा प्रोफेसर से बहुत अच्छा रहा है. उनसे जो इंटरेक्शन है, टेक्निकल इंटरेक्शन है, नॉन टेक्निकल इंटरेक्शन है. तो आफ्टर स्टार्टअप ऑल्सो दे सपोर्टेड दैट कि कैसे करना चाहिए आपको, बिकॉज दे नो मच मोर बेटर इन देयर पार्ट, स्पेशली द सब्जेक्ट्स विच दे आर बेटर. आई मीन दे कैन सजेस्ट हाउ व्हाट शुड बी द प्लानिंग. तो फिर हमने वहाँ पे केमिकल जो लैब होती है, नॉर्मल केमिकल लैब, उस लैब में हमने काम किया. वहाँ पे जो एक नैनो मटेरियल्स लैब है, वहाँ पे भी फुल एक्सेस था, और वहाँ पे हमने काम किया. और हमने वहाँ पे एक बेसिक टेक्नोलॉजी का फ्रेमवर्क बनाया. तो आइडिएशन फेज से हम आ चुके थे कंसेप्ट फेज में. सो इन कंसेप्ट फेज व्हाट इज बीइंग डन, जो हमारा आइडिया था कि हम इससे मटेरियल निकालेंगे, हम बैटरीज बनाएंगे, वो हमने एक छोटे से एक प्रोटोटाइप में चेंज कर लिया था. आई मीन नॉट प्रोटोटाइप, यू कैन से जस्ट अ फ्रेमवर्क ऑफ द प्रोटोटाइप. After ideation there is a concept, after concept there is a prototyping. So once the framework is being made in the college, then we said कि अब यार छोटा सा प्लांट बनाना है. तब फिर हमने कॉलेज के जस्ट अराउंड 6-7 किलोमीटर्स पास में हमने एक बेसमेंट लिया था, जहाँ पे हमने एक छोटा सा फैक्ट्री खोला था. इन द बेसमेंट द रेंट वॉज अराउंड 10,000 रुपीज़ एंड क्लोज टू 12,000 रुपीज़ पर मंथ. और वहाँ पे हमने एक पायलट प्लांट बनाया था, बहुत छोटा सा. एंड वी वर हैविंग टोटल 5 people in the company. तो हम दिन में वहाँ पे बैटरीज बनाते थे, रात में हम लोग कॉलेज में रिसर्च करते थे, क्योंकि वो बहुत नियर माई था. कॉलेज वॉज इन कापड़ीवास नियर धारुएड़ा, एंड आवर फैक्ट्री वॉज इन बिलासपुर विच इज़ वेरी नियर टू दैट. तो we actually built that small plant in that system. तो जब प्रोटोटाइप बन गया, देन वी अप्रोच्ड अवर प्रोफेसर्स की पैसा चाहिए, क्योंकि कॉलेज में मेस भी इतना मतलब हाई कॉस्ट नहीं था, क्योंकि खाना भी वहाँ मिल जाता था, रहना वहाँ हॉस्टल्स में मिल जाता था, आपको लैब भी मिल रही है. सो आई थिंक दे सपोर्टेड इट इन अ वेरी ग्रेट वे इन टर्म्स ऑफ द इनिशियल सपोर्ट. और इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर के जो हेड थे मिस्टर देवेंद्र सर, सो ही वॉज वेरी सपोर्टिव इन अंडरस्टैंडिंग द अर्गोनॉमिक्स पैरामीटर्स ऑफ स्टार्टअप. स्टार्टअप में क्या होता है, आपको रेवेन्यू क्या होता है, मार्जिन क्या होता है, ग्रॉस मार्जिन क्या होता है, ये सब एक बेटर टर्म्स में ही वॉज एंड स्ट्रैटेजी क्या होना. सो ही सपोर्टेड इन अ वेरी काइंड वे. देन आफ्टर दैट व्हाट वी डिड, वी स्टार्टेड पिचिंग टू डिफरेंट, वी मेड वन डेक. तो हमें पता लगा कि डेक बनानी होती है जिसमें आपके फाउंडर्स का नाम, क्या करते हो आप, आपका विज़न क्या है, आपकी टेक्नोलॉजी क्या है, आपका प्रोडक्ट क्या है. सो डू यू हैव टू लिस्ट. सो हमने उसमें एक डेक बनाया और उसको सर्कुलेट किया. एंड देन वी पिच्ड विद मल्टीपल इन्वेस्टर्स. तो देन द फर्स्ट फंडिंग इट वॉज डन बाई हीरो ग्रुप विच इज सुरभम पार्टनर्स. द टोटल फंडिंग साइज वॉज, इसके पहले में 15 लाख रुपए भी मिले थे, मतलब विच वॉज फ्रॉम देयर इज अ वन इन्वेस्टर विच इज़, आई मीन ही इज़ वेरी गुड इन टर्म्स ऑफ, अभी भी मेंटर हैं. तो ऐसे ही पैसे ख़त्म हो गए थे हमारे पास, और मुझे लगता था नहीं था कि हम लोग चला पाएंगे. तो देयर इज़ वन पर्सन हु इज़ माई क्लोज फ्रेंड. तो हमने उत्कर्ष ने डिसाइड किया कि ही वांट्स टू मीट समवन. तो यू विल नॉट बिलीव कि गुड़गांव में देयर वाज अ मीटिंग, और हमने उनको बोला कि, उन्होंने कहा, मैंने कहा पैसे तो कोई देने वाला नहीं, मिल लेते हैं, क्या प्रॉब्लम है. सो पर्सन नेम वॉज जीके सिन्हा, एंड ही वॉज द एक्स CHRO ऑफ पेप्सी इन आयरलैंड. सो इंडिया में ही अभी रिटायर होके आ गए थे. तो उनसे मिलाया, And very first day we have a meeting of around half an hour. He said that I want to give you a check. So he just went to home, because home was in that society only. He brought up a check of 15 lakh rupees and he said take it. So we said that I don't know, 15 lakh rupees was also very good amount at that particular time. He said what is the equity you will give and things like that. We said that we don't know about this, and then we finalized some terms over there that how much equity we will give and things. That's how our journey started. And then from that money we built more batteries, we made some revenue, we built more tech in terms of the concreteness of the technology, especially the extraction technology. And after that we approached to several investors. So first funding was done by Hero Group, which is Hero Growth Fund as a server partner of around the total round size was around 2.7 crores, and then we received that fund. So from there we built the first black mass plant, which is the unit 1. The total factory size was around you can say 20,000 square feet, and we built our own plant. जो हमने छोटा सा प्लांट बनाया था उसकी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हमने खुद ही कराई थी लोकल वेंडर्स से, एंड वी कंप्लीट दैट प्लांट इन अंडर अराउंड 70-80 lakhs. एंड उस टाइम पे हमने 80 lakhs के बाद फिर टीम को कोलैबोरेट करना शुरू किया, फिर कॉलेज की जो टीम थी उनको शिफ्ट किया इन द फैक्ट्री. और फिर सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज है ब्लैक मास का प्लांट. हमने 3 महीने में ब्लैक मास का प्लांट सेट कर दिया, और उसके बाद में भी वी रन दैट प्लांट एंड वी डिड अ रेवेन्यू ऑफ क्लोज टू 24 crores with positive EBITDA of around 2.3%. So that was the first achievement which we did on the first year on a black mass production. और black mass प्रोड्यूस करने के बाद which is a intermediary product of the final product, उसके बाद हमें लगा कि इस black mass का ये चाइना क्या करता है, मतलब जो भी इसको लेके जाता है, क्योंकि वो सारा एक्सपोर्ट होता था. तो एक्सट्रैक्शन का तो पहले ही हम लोग कुछ ना कुछ टेस्टिंग करते थे. तो देन वी डिसाइडेड टू विजिट सम कंट्री. तो वी वर वेरी लकी दैट इन 2021 वी गॉट सेलेक्टेड इन वन स्टार्टअप इवेंट. सो दे हैव टेकन अस टू पेरिस.
अच्छा.
सो देयर वाज एन इवेंट कॉल्ड विवाटेक. सो द इवेंट ऑर्गेनाइज्ड इन पेरिस एंड गवर्नमेंट हैज टेकन दिस ओवर देयर. वी आर हैविंग स्मॉल स्टॉल ओवर देयर, एंड देयर वी अंडरस्टूड दैट हाउ दिस domain is important, how this domain is having a bright future, because you met with a lot of global people over there. You met with a lot of people who wants to get into this, and we have seen the globalization in this field, that how this field will be grown in next 10 to 15 years, especially the lithium battery field. And that was the first foreign trip which was sponsored by government.
जैसे आपने बताया कि फर्स्ट ईयर जैसे वी डिड लाइक 24 crores. सो माय क्वेश्चन टू यू हियर इज कि ये आपने इंडिया में बेचा या एक्सपोर्ट किया? एक्सपोर्ट किया, ठीक है. एंड आई एम आस्किंग दिस फॉर एनीवन जो अपनी कंपनी इस टाइम पे बनाना चाह रहा है, अब फर्स्ट सेकेंड ईयर में है. हाउ डिड यू फाइंड द पार्टनर्स कि जिनको यू हैव टू सेल, एंड नंबर 2 हाउ डिड यू फिगर आउट द सप्लाई चेन?
See, there are two understanding in this sector. For example, if you are starting something, right, तो आपके पास ना तो वॉल्यूम होगा कि आप किसी को कमिटेड वॉल्यूम दे पाओ, ना ही आपके पास बहुत बड़ा कोई प्रोडक्ट का क्वालिटी होगा. व्हाट आई बिलीव इन द स्टार्टिंग, आप ऑफटेक एग्रीमेंट भी नहीं दे सकते. और तो सबसे पहला जो मुझे लगता है कि आपको शुरू करना, यू शुड फाइंड सम ट्रेडर एंड यू मेक हिम एज अ पार्टनर, समथिंग लाइक दैट.
इंटरमीडिएरी ऐसा कुछ.
हाँ, सब द इंटरमीडिएटरी का पार्टनर बनाओ, क्योंकि आपका जो वैलिडेटर है ना वो कस्टमर ही है.
ओके.
जब आप प्रोडक्ट बनाते हो ना, तो प्रोडक्ट बनाने के बाद हु विल सर्टिफाई यू? लैब्स, सम अदर प्रोडक्ट्स. द मेन सर्टिफायर विल बी द कस्टमर इटसेल्फ. आपका खराब प्रोडक्ट भी है ना, यू शुड एसोसिएट विद समवन, एंड फाइंडिंग द राइट पार्टनर इज लाइक, क्योंकि आप जो प्रोडक्ट बना रहे हो एटलीस्ट यू विल सी सम यूज केसेस. You will see कि पहला हमारा जो पार्टनर था, you will not believe, the रिक्शा वाला. We met one e-rickshaw wala in Gurgaon in 2021. We asked him that you to use my batteries. So he said that why I should use my batteries. So you should make him as a friend, and you should believe them. That belief that which you have seen as a dream, the dream should go into the e-rickshaw wala also. he should see that what you want to do, otherwise no one will entertain you.
So like would you say कि अगर suppose किसी को कोई भी product जैसे इंडिया से export करना है in this segment, they should look for intermediary partners like
Intermediary
traders,
partners, क्योंकि क्या है, आप वो compliances पूरे नहीं कर पाओगे
and they'll
starting
help
में.
you fulfill those compliances.
Exactly. So initially the first task is to validate your product.
Right.
To validate product, you need some intermediary player, a trader, interim player who will take your product on his name, not on your name, and he will export it out.
Basically white labeling.
It's a white labeling. In that prospect, the cost, you will learn the certifications, compliances, cost structure, your product validation, because your product will go to the customer, they will tell you some feedback also, right? So your entire value chain will be made without investing much money. Because one player is being there from maybe some years, who is at least, he don't know about the product, but he knows the process of doing transactioning the material from here to different country.
And it saves you a lot of trouble, like मतलब export
Absolutely,
तो
you are
बहुत कुछ
sitting
है,
here, you can
quality
go
check
there.
है, बहुत कुछ
Absolutely,
है.
absolutely. So I think that entry player is being needed, which you have to figure it out based on your product.
Right.
And there are a lot of players. I mean, there are a lot of traders sitting at every kind of products. Especially in my kind of product, there are a lot of traders which are doing this kind of, or you can find some relevant product that, okay, this product no one is doing, this is a new product. What is a relevant product which is being exported in similar way? So you can find that guy that, okay, my product is similar to this. You can learn from him. So always the learning should come from the person who is experienced and have trust on him, because there is no other option.
That's true. And
So-
how did you figure out the supply chain? And supply chain as of now, today also in India, what do you think is the situation of supply chain?
See,
With EVs,
in
EV
context of lithium-ion batteries materials like lithium, nickel and cobalt, today starting from the raw material which is called upstream, we don't manufacture batteries in India. We import 100% batteries.
Right.
Last year we roughly imported $2.9 to $3 billion of batteries, and in that batteries there is materials, right? Till 2016, 2017, the battery were exported to China. So they were giving the batteries, we were using the product, and they are taking that entire product to recycle there. In 2019, you can say the market evolved little bit. It is because of the electric vehicles. Because from 2016 to 2020, a lot of new companies came in two-wheelers and three-wheelers as e-rickshaws, which emerged in an extent way. So EV picture came into the market, and that's intrigued everyone that what you will do with the batteries which are using it. And that's where the companies started taking some serious conversations that recycling need to be done, right? So on an upstream side, we are only importers, we are only users. We were exporting the batteries. From 2016-17, people started making the black mass. I mean, they started making small machines, and actually what other countries did, they came in India, like one of the Korean company, they came in India, they established the black mass plant here. And from them, the people learned. For example, I will give you a very funny example. Till 2019, the battery price was around 5 rupees to 6 rupees, which is right now 250 rupees. Even the market pricing of materials is same, which was in 10 years back.
The battery, because people have realized the value of the.
Because those countries were earning a lot of money by making you fools, because we don't have any, we were thinking that this is scrap. So in your mobile phone, which you are using, you use 7 grams of the cobalt into it.
How did you figure out the pricing? Because like आप भी नए space में आ रहे थे, तो like initially जब किसी से बैटरी ऐसे procure करनी थी, तो वो pricing कैसे fix करी कि इस pricing पे लेंगे? और क्या ऐसा कभी हुआ कि like लोगों ने बोला कि यार आप तो इतने कमाओगे इससे, तो फिर मैं इस pricing पे something ऐसे करूँगा?
जब हमने बिजनेस शुरू किया था तो बैटरीज में कोई कंपटीशन नहीं था, आपको बैटरी इजीली मिल जाती थी. मतलब 20, 30 रुपीज़ 40 रुपीज़. एक साल के अंदर the competition you must so well that pricing goes to 250 rupees. Even one time the pricing was 420 rupees
420
per kg of batteries, your mobile phone batteries. And you know, when there was a time when people were not bothering about black mass, they were only bothering about the copper aluminum, and they were considering this black mass as a waste. So you can see that in our country awareness was not there about the materials, because we are importing the batteries, we are not knowing what we are using in this system, and majorly we were only doing the screw manufacturing in the country. Now a lot of deep tech startups and fundamentals has been started to figure it out that what we should do with the materials. When we purchase the battery, we make the black mass. We met few of the players who were exporting different materials. Who were working on not this particular type of things. They were working to export this e-waste material, the PCB boards and things like that. So they got some understanding that this black mass is something which can be exported. And there was no some proper HSN code on this. Even still there is no proper HSN code to sell this material, because black mass itself a new name, new product in the country. And then we figure out some 2-3 players who helped us in. So what we given us our material. So we actually talked to final person also who is taking the material, but we have used one intermediate player who purchased our material in a very first lot.
So, like now switching gears to, we won't speak about tech, and because we have covered the tech very extensively in the factory tour that we did, so please watch that. I really want to talk to you about the finance part, because अभी हम लोगों ने recently देखा Blue Smart, then Log9. So what has been your experience based on this, and particularly in the space that you are operating in? What are some good financial instruments? Like, for example, personally for me, I don't believe much in debt. So I want to understand from you that what are the options that today are available in the market, how can startups look at it, and what has been your entire experience with the funding cycles?
See, we can't say that debt is good or equity is good. I think it depends on your business type. It depends on the working capital you need. It depends on the type of product you have, what type of customers you have. So I think that any model works. We have to see that what is in our system, what is being required.
Right.
So I think that one thing which I say, that cash flows are very important. I mean, spending each and every money which you are spending as a startup, we should always cautious about the ROI, return of investment, return on time. Even not investment, return on time is also very important. And sticking on the fundamental is very important. I mean, sometimes I have seen that a lot of startups, they diversify because one thing is not working. Definitely it might be the case, but sometimes we have to struggle. We have to struggle, and I think that struggle is being needed, and raise only take that kind of money which is being needed. I don't think that raising extra funds which is not being required will help you a lot in developing your system, whatever you're trying to build. As my personal comment on that is that whatever you are doing, the vision you have, I mean, most of the things don't burn the money. Always you have to regulate the cash flows, because most of the people who are there only tackling about the working capital. Cash flows are beyond that working capital, because we need to see that customer cycle time. What is the customer cycle time? What is the money I have in the liquidity? Whatever the money I am spending, what is the understanding about getting it returned? So your cycle time is very much important. For an example, in our case, we export the material, right? So you have to wait for 60 days to get the funds. So you need to see that how I can reduce my working capital days in terms of getting up that money, whether I can sell that material in lower cost in India itself, or to traders, so that I can get that money and rotation. So in startups, I think rotation is very much important. Your money rotation need to be there in liquidity, rather than putting this lot on capex. Also, when we as a startup, when I see as a technology, we put a lot of money on plants and maybe on the hardware side of it. I think we should invest in parts, so that the ROI need to become initially. We should not see that invest 100% with full-fledged and then we will see the ROI. I think invest the money in small part. For example, we did in black mass. We can build the entire plant, but we only invested in the black mass plant. That first we will generate, we will learn from it, because learning is also very much important. Learning is having some curve. Always we need that curve to be followed. So for example, today you received the funding and you you have made some budget. So your finance team need to be regulate that budget. That whatever the budget you have made for a year, that need to be regulated. And budget is very much important. It's not like that even if you are raising 50,000, if you are raising 1 lakh, I think that you need to cautious about the books from the day one. Each and every penny need to be listed out, that need to be have a record, and that balances and checks need to be done. Maybe of 50,000, if you have a total capital of 50,000, you make that. That helps you to take decisions. In startups, numbers always helps you to take right decisions. So I think that once you have the capital, make the budget and have a responsible budget spending on every fund. For example, you need capex, you need opex, you need some utilities, you need to put some money in the market, some marketing. So you need to be cautious about these things, that whatever the money you are putting, that money need to be rotated in a well form. And I think that always put the money in liquidity form.
And how supportive today is the Indian VC ecosystem?
I think today what I see is it is having two different fronts. What I see today in India, the startups like us needs a lot of patience, and that need to be long-term vision. At least 10 years exit need to be done in 8 to 10 years. I think most of the VCs, not all, I mean they want exit in 5 years, 6 years. I mean that is, I think that this is something which is less time, I mean, compared to build the startups, because if you want to build something large, something impactful, it takes a lot of time to mature the entire thing, to mature the market, to mature the technology, to mature the customer side of it. And there will be hits and challenges, because if you have started a startup, it may be the new thing, right? So some assertiveness will be there into the company, but the trust need to be there from both sides, not from the VC side. I mean, the founders need to also be very transparent about the things. I mean, most of the things they should speak out clearly that this is the problem we are facing and this is the problem we need to solve, rather than putting something which you are not telling and you are generating the revenue. So I don't believe on valuation, I believe on value creation. So I mean, in the starting, most of the startups, they got into the valuation. See, if you see BYJU'S, if you see Oyo, they have cut down with the valuation, right? So valuation is not the thing. I mean, I believe on value creation. You create the value from fundamentals, and that fundamental valuation need to be concrete. So there is a book of Ram Charan. So I also have some mentors from Indian Science and Business School from Mohali. So they have always focusing about the cash flows. So they are saying that every business is like road selling, any shop. So Ramcharan's book, if you will study about, so if any shoe store, if they are running, if any person is running shoe store, exactly same thing you are also doing in the company. You have some inflows, you are selling something, you have some expense, and then at the evening he is just counting the cash, that what is the cash balance I have. So I think there is nothing which is very, very tough. We need to be very simple. I mean, every day you need to be track on the cash flows. Like shopkeeper, he just count the money. This is the money he will close. He will count the inventory, that this is the inventory I have. This is the new money I have to put into new material to feed in, and this is the customers I have to put in, right? And this is the dead inventory which is not in sales. Exactly same in every company it happens. There is nothing something extra.
Do you feel that with recycling we need to put like a lot of head into figuring out the economics? Because as we talked earlier, supply chain का कुछ पता नहीं है. You have to set up the supply chain. Then उस supply chain में से कितना material बाहर आ रहा है, उसका efficiency कितनी है, कितना pure है, and then figuring out who your vendors would be. And as शॉप फ्लोर पे हमने देखा था कि अगर कोई जिन बैटरीज को और यूज़ कर सकते हैं तो उससे क्या और प्रोडक्ट बनाया जाए, बट देन ऑल्सो वी डोंट नो कि वो कितनी उसकी सेम सप्लाई रहेगी. सो डू यू फील कि रिसाइकलिंग में थोड़ा ज़्यादा यू हैव टू पुट योर ब्रेन इनटू कि कैसे उस चीज़ को प्रॉफिटेबल बनाया जाए?
सी, रिसाइकलिंग में चैलेंज टेक्नोलॉजी का नहीं है. रिसाइकलिंग में चैलेंज मटेरियल एक्सट्रैक्शन और एफिशिएंसीज का भी नहीं है. रिसाइकलिंग का सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज है सप्लाई चेन ऑफ द इनपुट मटेरियल. फॉर एग्जांपल, आपके प्लांट में जो आपने टेक्नोलॉजी बनाया उसमें सर्टेन टाइप का मटेरियल फीड इन होगा, बट जब आप मटेरियल परचेज करते हैं ना तो वो मिक्स्ड मटेरियल मिलता है. हाउ टू सेग्रीगेट, सो आई मीन सेग्रीगेशन इज एन बिग इशू, सॉर्टिंग इज एन बिग इशू. तो वो आई थिंक वी नीड टू सॉल्व द सप्लाई चेन इशूज रादर देन द फॉरवर्ड इंटीग्रेशन, एंड ब्रिंगिंग अप द सप्लाई चेन इन अ रेगुलर फॉर्म इज ऑल्सो इम्पॉर्टेंट. मतलब आपने प्लांट बना लिया और प्लांट बनाने का सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है, प्लांट के लिए मटेरियल नहीं है, और फिर क्या होता है आपका नेगेटिव कैश फ्लो शुरू हो जाता है.
हाँ, because factory is up and there it's not running.
कोई भी आप वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट की अगर कंपनी ले, इट नीड्स वॉल्यूम टू जनरेट सम प्रॉफिट्स, इवन एनी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैसिलिटी, और इट नीड टू बी कंसिस्टेंट. Consistent manufacturing will lead you profitability. Today, if I am putting some manufacturing plant, tomorrow I have material, day after tomorrow I don't have material, then after that I have some little part of the material. तो सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज है कि ये जो जितने भी वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट की कंपनी है उसका बैकबोन जो है दैट इज द सप्लाई चेन. सो यू नीड टू स्ट्रेंथन दैट सप्लाई चेन वेरी स्ट्रांगली कि आपके पास रेगुलर मटेरियल्स है, प्लस इट इज ऑल्सो रिलेटेड टू अंडरस्टैंडिंग द कैपिटल मैनेजमेंट. I mean, you need large working capital to run this because you need storage, because you know that keep material fluctuating है, क्योंकि as a scrap you don't know, it has been not manufactured, right? It has been thrown by someone else, and that you cannot predict that how much that material will be thrown. You have a ballpark figure just. So today maybe you have 100 tons, tomorrow maybe you have 20 tons, day after tomorrow maybe 200 tons.
Right.
So in this type of businesses you need to be consistent about building the supply chain. Transportation logistic challenges you have to solve, how to solve the logistic challenges on cost wise, on time perspective. I think these are some issues which you need to solve. Second is because the ticket size of the waste is very small. So for example, if my material value is 50 rupees per kg, you are putting 10 rupees of the cost to transport. So technically you are putting 15% to 20% logistics, which doesn't make any sense. So you need to think that how you have to work. So then as a company like BATX, we are building with the hub and spoke model, right? We are processing the batteries locally in a black mass form, and then we are transporting the black mass because black mass volume is exactly half. So where I am giving 10 rupees, I have to only transport with 5 rupees with the same volume. So I think we need to solve those areas. Second is India as a country, we don't have any organized supply chain for waste material. So ultimately you are the person who have to solve that. You have to work with kawadiwalas, you have to work with aggregators, you have to work with the what we call producer responsible organizations, PRO companies. You have to work with reverse supply chain companies, and you have to integrate all these things together to get the material from the larger distance to your facility. So for example, if you want to bring the material from Mumbai to here, and it is being, for example, today it is being 5 tons available, and your 5 tons, your vehicle is 20 tons. So you have to do part loading. So you have to build a very strong, robust system where your part load can be loaded by someone and it can be brought here to make it cost economics. So it's more about which is called supply chain engineering. So I don't say engineering is only about technology. We said supply chain is also an engineering. Finance is also an engineering. So you have to do financial engineering, you have to do supply chain engineering, and then you have to do the chemical or mechanical engineering into it. I mean, sales side there is not much challenge into it, but these three things, the integration is very much important. Second, which I want to say is that apart from technology, the integration of material mass balancing is important. For example, in waste, today evening I want to calculate what is my profit and loss. Mass balancing takes a lot of time. That this much of material I have in vehicle, this much of material is being transactioning, this much of material is being sorted, this much of material is being processed, this much of material I have extracted with particular efficiency, with that particular yield. So that mapping need to be done so that you can take right decision. Today, I mean, the waste management system need to be processed, need to be seen in the lens of Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 is needed to build this kind of ecosystem where large amounts can be scaled in a larger way. Because today we are not able to predict, because I am not able to predict where the material is being available.
Right.
If I have some mechanism that okay, in the entire country this is the small part of material is being available, I can see that. so I can take better decisions. So fragmented supply chain should be converted into the regular supply chain. That we need to do, that recyclers have to do, and they have to do a lot of hard work in doing that. We also have to do tie-ups with, you can say, repair centers, companies like Cashify, companies like, and even we have to also work with Kawadiwalas. Along with that, we also tie up with service centers where the battery is being exchanged. So you have to work with a lot of models where your material is being coming, and you have to make a streamline where your material can be reached to the factory. So I think I would say that supply chain is the backbone rather than technology that we need to solve, and also we need to prepare the people who can take right decision for the right kind of material. Because in waste management, the problem is what material is having what kind of profitability we can't predict. So then we have to take in some average that this is something which is 20%, this is something 10%, so typically we have 15% of margin into it, right? So you cannot have a flat margin into this field. The margins will always fluctuating. Your gross margins will fluctuate, your profit margins will fluctuate, your contribution margin will fluctuate, right? It is because you are feeding with the material where there are different types. So you have to also fill with the challenges. And the company like us, you will not believe, sometimes we are coordinating with Kawadiwalas, and after extraction we are selling the companies which are billion-dollar companies, and our sales is being done on commodity products. So all the sales which we do of our either black mass or the final materials is based on commodity pricing. We follow London Metal Exchange or fast markets or maybe Shanghai Metal Exchange, and that keeps fluctuating. So the question which you are asking, deriving the commerciality part of it, driving the profit, the problem is you have to map the commodity pricing with the input pricing.
Right.
Sometimes you have to store the material. You should know the hedging. You should know the complete how the world is moving. For example, I will tell you a very serious market perspective thing. In 2022, the lithium pricing was $85 per kg. Today it is around $10. Same material, same quality, same purity. The cobalt pricing was $65. Today we are landing to $31. Even previous month or previous to period, it was around $22. So you have a huge fluctuation, and at the input side, the material pricing is same, because it will not have a ripple effects on the same pricing, right? So you should know that pricing is going to reduce. You should have a market understanding. You should have a complete understanding of a product, because it is associated to commodities, and you should know when I have to store the material, when I have to sell the material immediately. To make the material, it is not only about the financial engineering. That's why I'm calling it is about the financial engineering. You should know when I have to get the dollar value and when I have to sell that material. So stock and sales need to be mapped with the forecasting of the metal pricing. Right. So there are a lot more parts which we do. We also start, at least we are not doing it, but we are following the hedging also. That some companies can take my material and I can buy with the future pricing. So for example, if I take you an example, there is a company called Tanaka in Japan. Okay, this is a very big company, the largest company in there. So for example, I have taken a battery 100 rupees per kg, or I have taken some material with 100 rupees per kg. I have extracted the material maybe 200 rupees per kg. Whatever in 100 rupees, I made 200 rupees and made a margin of 100. In India, even if you extract 100% efficiency, you will not able to make the profit in certain kind of materials like PGM material, palladium, rhodium and platinum group. How they make the money, they will purchase your material with future pricing and they will keep with them. And they will sell to someone that, okay, I will want the money of future pricing, but I am selling that material. So how you will make the profit? Just by processing. You don't have any margin. So in materials, in commodities, it's more about, it's far more about that manufacturing. Generating money will come from, you should know how your materials market is performing, and you should know the stock, you should know the market behavior, and you should know what actions need to be done based on that behavior. So for example, today if the market price is being reduced by $10, so Kawadi will not reduce it, right? You will leave that. How market ripple effect will come after 10 to, and maybe you can say 2 to 3 months, when people will not start buying it, then they will say, okay, this price is being reduced. So that is something which you have to maintain. So always you have to carry forward with 2 to 3 months of inventory so that you can accommodate all the fluctuation in the flat line. Second is, which is very much important, the skilled people. This domain needs a lot of skill because everything is intangible. You cannot see the cobalt, nickel, manganese with your eyes. So mapping the mass balancing is very important. For example, I am buying 100 kilo of batteries, for example. But I am not making money from that 100 kilo of batteries. I am making the money from the metals inside it.
Yeah.
So I should know what is the metal inside it. So technically, my team is not purchasing the batteries. My team is purchasing indirectly the metals inside it. And metals are very different. For example, your one battery contains 20% cobalt. Second battery contains 3% cobalt with the same amount weight of the battery. So technically, 100 kg will give you 20 kg of cobalt in one case, and second 100 kg will give you only 3.5 kg of cobalt. So you need to map your input material pricing with your metal content what you have. So our entire economics is being drawn by metal content, not the battery volume.
Right.
But you cannot measure the metal content instantly. So you need instrumentation, you need people, you need experience, you need data points. So today with the graphical user interface, we can predict what kind of material inside it. We can tell you that what exactly iPhone 14, iPhone 13, Samsung telecom battery, what kind of Tata, Mahindra, what they contain. And that brings with the experience, that brings with a lot of data testing. So already we have a testing center in our facility and we do a testing. We have around 1.5 lakh data points with the pictures and what this contains. And that's how we make the entire economic model from purchase to transportation to storage to production to product storage and then sales. So that kind of entire thing is being mapped with certain. For example, today I have incurred 100 rupees in material purchasing. So my money has been gone. So I have to calculate the ROI also, because 2 months if I am not able to return that money, so my interest is being added.
Right.
So my money is being reduced by stocking also. So you have to think in perspective of money also, that ultimately whatever asset you have, whatever supply chain you have, whatever stock you have, you are deteriorating in form of money. So that need to be added into the profits, right? So everything need to be mapped. Even if you are storing 1 kg of material, it needs some space that we are not counting. So when we are calculating the, you can say working capital, when we are calculating the, you can say when we are making a P&L sheet, it should be based on practical scenarios. Rather than we have an asset of 50 crores, we have stock of 50 crores, tomorrow the pricing has been reduced, the stock has become 25 crores. So that kind of system you need, right, which can reduce the risk in terms of these fluctuation of the pricing.
Right.
So there are a lot more things which we do on every day in terms of just to make profitability out of it. Because China is sitting to compete with you. Why people will give you the material? If, for example, how technology helps in bringing out this commercialization. The same material China is extracting 98%. I am able to extract 94%. So that 4% gap, they will take that material to there. So you need to keep also track and to be top notch in terms of material quality and the yield, that means material efficiency. If you are lagging with them, you will not able to bring out good economics. People will love to export rather than giving to you. So these are a lot more things. Production cost is something, for example, I have also learned in recent that customer will not give you extra money. Supplier will not give you with some discount. What is in your hands? The floor. So your all margins should drive from the floor. Your floor efficiency will give out the margins rather than not customers, not suppliers. So what is in my control is floor. So the floor efficiency need to be tracked every month. The floor efficiency, that's why R&D is being needed. Because every time you're receiving something else, and I cannot say that in the market that this battery I can't take, this battery I will take, this battery I will leave it. No one will give you the battery. So your technology need to be scalable along with the sustainability. So that is something which we have built here. We don't have any discharge. We can accommodate any kind of battery into the system and we can generate same efficiency Today we are lagging with China in terms of efficiency. We have a gap of 4%, I know, but that will be covered over a period of time. I mean, that can't be done in one day. So I mean, these are the things which we have learned in managing the capitals, and always infuse and what we call spend money in your manpower.
That's true. Thank you, Vikrant. Like, it's been honestly a very deep learning experience, and I think that people would like it too, because we've coupled the practicality of what you're building with whatever went behind. Like, as you mentioned, I really liked that how R&D has been your backbone, how you figure out supply chain, and your sort of mindset towards financing. Because as we were talking earlier, I believe in the same thing, that investors' money can only take you from point A to point B. If you feel that investors' money is going to make you profitable, that's not the case. Ultimately, your business has to make you profitable.
Absolutely.
So we need to use that money just to get things running, and not on other.
Absolutely, use investors' money either in the assets or in the you can say little bit of working capital.
Because I feel that yes, tomorrow if someone comes and says I want to pull out, that pulling out shouldn't bring the entire thing down. It has to be resilient of that fact as well, and specifically with the geopolitical things happening with US, pulling out a lot of things. So I feel that our models have to be resilient and not dependent upon an external person.
In this, debt should be raised always for the working capital.
Right.
You should have enough margins to drive with. And there are a lot of financial instruments like PO-based financing is being there. For example, today even government banks are providing that. For example, you want to purchase some material, you don't have money, so you have to show some PO that okay.
PO-based financing, I think
PO-based
it's
financing
a good
is
one.
there.
Yeah.
There are other instruments like you can say LC. You can get the LC also from different countries as a players to get the money. You can also get the money from you can say discounting based. Invoice discounting is called invoice discounting factor or invoice discounting debt. So there's a lot of financial instrument which you can use, but the fundamentals need to be right.
Right.
That need to be very much correct. Your money should be rotate in a proper manner which you want. Your product should have that kind of quality. Your customer should have that kind of understanding that he should give that kind of money in a proper time, right? So I think that in terms of capital usage, you have a lot of instruments which you can use, and even now Indian government is supporting like Exim Bank. They have given us the debt with the interest of 9.5%. Technology Development Board is giving you the term loan with 5% of interest only. So there is a lot more which government is doing in this sector, but we have to see that how wisely we use it. Right. In creating this system. I think never burn the money. I mean, what I've seen that startups burn a lot of money. We also did in the starting, because I also accept that. But we learned that burning money to just getting up revenue, to just getting a valuation is not worthwhile. Always, I believe in small business, but are fundamentally strong. A small business with generating good cash flows, small business with generating good margins is much better than the having company a larger valuation but negative loss into the P&L. So I think that's something which need to be looked upon in terms of scaling up the things, because initially burning money, it is good that you get a lot of revenues, but when you scale it up, that revenue start killing you, because a lot of money you have to infuse from your internal capital rather from the customer.
Right.
So I mean, customer is your biggest investor, and customer should be your biggest investor all the time. These investors are just supporters, intermediate supporters to build something. Once you build something, just believe on your customers. They will fund you to run your company, right? So I believe on customers. I believe purely on customers. They are they are real certifiers. They certify your product. If they are giving money on the right time, they are also investors, a kind of investor. If they are giving you some advance or kind of thing. So I think that's something your product should have that kind of quality, that kind of standard that customer will definitely pay you.
That's true. Yeah. And this brings us to the end. So once again, thank you so much for having us here, and thank you so much for the time. I genuinely like the work that you're doing here, and for our audience, I really hope you like this conversation. And in addition to it, you also like our on-ground factory tour at Bharat Climate Startups. So please keep supporting us the way you're doing. And once again, thank you, Vikrant. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you.